Heck yes, man. Heck to the yes. The Vancouver Canucks fan base should be rejoicing right now. Because, as we had talked about a few weeks ago, there finally is a prospect in this organization that is good enough to continuously making videos about every time something bigger and better happens. Gone are the days when Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes were dominating their respective leagues and we could talk about them all the time. But with this player entering the mix and doing the things he is doing in the SHL, I guess we're back in business, baby. Let's talk today about Jonathan Lekkerimaki, because for a guy who is still in a very early SHL season, the guy only has, at the time of recording this audio, 6 games played on the year. For a guy who has played so little, there is so much that we can be excited for. Because in the previous game for Orebro, you had yourselves yet another goal scored by Lekkerimaki, and I mean, look, the entire time we've been talking about how this guy was supposed to be the top goal scorer of the 2022 draft and how his shot could have been the best shot of the entire draft class. I get it. You could say there are other players that have higher ceilings, better potential, whatever, but for Lekkerimaki, there was this consensus that he was number one for shooting. It was him and the Akeem Kemmel. These were the two guys that were at the top of the class with their shot ability. And for Lekkerimaki, last season we did not see much of that, because he was recovering from mono. Guess what? Taking time off and then coming back while fixing yourself up from that disease kind of takes you out of it a bit. And Lekkerimaki exhibited that for a good chunk of last season. This year, though, no more mono. He is back, he is ready to go, and he has potted in yet another goal, putting his total up to 4 goals on the season in 6 games played. Now, he's on pace for 35 goals in 52 games played, which is pretty nuts. I mean, look, I'm not going to say that he's going to finish the season off with 30 goals and 0 assists, but I'll leave this for you right here. If you go over to the all-time SHL records and you search for guys under the age of 20, how many players are there in the SHL's history books under the age of 20 who have scored 30 goals? 0. In fact, the best goal production number was Kent Nielsen, who, in 75-76, at 19 years old, had 28 goals in 36 games. Elias Pettersson was second with 24 goals in 44 games, and then you have Peter Forsberg shortly after. Going down the list, you can see some more recognizable names: Tomas Sandstrom, Benstrom, Hornquist, Naslund, Daniel Sedin. There are a lot of guys here who are good NHL players, or at least who were good NHL players. And at the moment, Jonathan Lekkerimaki is on pace to getting a season better than all of them. For goals, at least. I mean, all these other players, Pettersson and Forsberg and Kent Nielsen, they all had as many assists as they had goals, mostly. So Lekkerimaki being at 0 does not really project all too well, but at the same time, there will be a time once his playmaking edge comes to the surface, especially since we recognized last year in the Djurgården's Allsvenskan playoff run, he was an assist-making machine. But for the goals that he has scored so far, Lekkerimaki just scored another beautiful bomb of a one-timer shot on the power play in the Ovechkin spot. This has been a pattern that we have seen a lot this season, and it's gotten to the point now where this goal is his 4th of the season and 3rd goal on the power play. All the other goals the guy has scored have been just bomb one-timers in front. He's got the Ovechkin spot on lock, and if things continue at this pace, then honestly, I don't really care if Lekkerimaki goes out there and doesn't get any assists on the year. If he's able to provide at least 1 or 2 power play bombs that make goalies scared of him per game, then there is a lot of value to be had there, especially with the amount of goals that he is scoring from this spot. This may just be the Swedish Ovechkin light kind of guy that the Vancouver Canucks might have needed this entire time. Sure, you've got the Elias Petterssons on the right flank who can take a one-time bomb when he needs to. Quinn Hughes can also lock and really drive into that puck with the flex of his stick and force it forward when he wants. Brock Besser, unfortunately, he has not been able to do this Ovechkin bomb one-timer stuff. Not since his rookie year, at least. I mean, when was the last time you remember seeing Brock really wind up and fire an accurate one-timer into the back of the net? It doesn't happen much nowadays. He's become a lot more of a playmaker, which is totally okay. I mean, 4 assists in a preseason game definitely makes things feel good in that respect. But if you have yourselves a power play in the future of Petey on the right, Lekkerimaki on the left, Hughes in the middle, this could be a beautiful showcase of shooting talent on display. Add to that Andrei Kuzmenko, bumper spot, or maybe he's down low because you want Miller as a left-handed shot in the bumper, I don't know. You can move things around the way you want to. And Lekkerimaki, if he is able to provide that same Ovechkin-like danger from that left faceoff circle on the power play, there's no telling how good this could go. We have some players in the NHL who absolutely lock and load on those one-timers. Nikita Kucherov comes to mind, of course Ovi, of course Draisaitl is in that conversation too. But for Lekkerimaki, if he is able to really hone this skill, then it makes up for the lack of goal scoring he had last season when he was battling with mono. It's pretty great. In fact, here's an article on theprovince.com written out by Mike Raptis. Canucks prospects. Lekkerimaki is more explosive, faster, and bigger in a bounce-back season. This article was published on the 28th. It'll be linked in the description if you want to go ahead and read this. The article talks about how his everything has gotten better. He says that he's being more explosive, faster, and bigger. Everything. There even are some comments made by Lekkerimaki head coach, because he had joined Czech TV's Donnie and Dolly earlier last week as well. He says this, that Lekkerimaki has been great. What everybody talks about with Jonathan is his shot, but his playmaking skills are elite too. He's much more structured than I thought he would be. He's actually pretty sound defensively and is taking good responsibility out there. Hedberg said that Lekkerimaki has big-time NHL potential, but needs to continue to get stronger despite having put on some muscles over the summer. That's the main thing for him. Otherwise, his talent set is good enough to be a top player in the SHL eventually. Or not a top player, excuse me, the top player in the SHL. Go over to the entire Swedish Hockey League at the time of recording this audio, and you can see that Lekkerimaki is actually tied for second in goals. Kali Kosula of Vekwa is number 1 at the time of me talking into this microphone. This is like a 8-player tie for second place, but Lekkerimaki is right in there. So we'll see how exactly everything shapes up as the year goes on. But for now, this guy has just got to continue doing what he's doing. One-timer Ovechkin spot power play goals. We need to see more of that, because if it eventually gets to a point where this is like a trademark of Lekkerimaki game, then all of a sudden Brock Besser, I'm sorry man, but your time on the power play first unit does not seem to be lasting all too long. Of course, Lekkerimaki is probably not going to make the team like right away next year. He might need some time in Abbotsford before really translating over. We'll see what happens as the years go on. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Jonathan Lekkerimaki and his continued SHL dominance. He is on pace to being one of the best junior goal scorers the league has ever seen. He may need an assist or two to really support that claim, but for now, the goals, he is on pace to being the number 1 guy, assuming he actually gets 35 goals in the season, which he's probably not going to, but at the same time, having 4 goals, 3 power play markers in 6 games played, on a brand new team too, that's definitely not a bad sign. So thoughts in the comment section below about Lekkerimaki. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.